Hey everybody, Jeremy here, back in the kitchen to make another dish inside of the amazing Ninja Foodi. So far, I've just been tackling savory dishes, things that I can eat for dinner and lunch, but today I am going after dessert. From the official cookbook, I am going to be making this chocolate chip skillet cookie. Can't wait to see how this one is going to turn out. And just like most of the recipes that are inside of this book, the ingredients are very common, very inexpensive, and very easy to obtain. But word of the wise, before you actually start to try this particular recipe, you need to make sure that you have a pan, because you are not going to be able to use the ceramic bowl in order to cook the skillet cookie, because it's sort of like you're using your own oven, and you know how you don't put things down on the floor of your oven uncovered. You're going to need a pan. So I'm just going to use this really cheap aluminum pan here. The recommendation is like an 8-inch pan, but since I don't really know how often I'll be using something like that, I just decided to get 3 of these for 88 cents, and that's what we're going to be using. This is going to be placed on top of the included grate that comes with the Ninja Foodi, so that you'll be able to cook the cookie and the cookie won't be touching the base of the really hot ceramic pot. All right, so just make sure you got yourself one of these. All right, so now let's get to mixing up those ingredients and make ourselves a big old cookie. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is preheat the Ninja Foodi. So we're going to hit the bake roast function. We're going to bring the temperature down to 325 degrees. The time is going to be for 5 minutes, and we're going to hit start. So while that's preheating, we got to start now mixing up those ingredients. So we're going to have a couple of bowls. One is going to have dry ingredients, and then the other bowl is going to have wet ingredients. Inside of this bowl here, I have myself 1 cup of all-purpose flour plus 2 additional tablespoons of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. So we are just going to mix that up. Not going to take long at all, because, you know, it's just dry ingredients. So now that we are done with that, just going to move this to the side, and we can start with the wet ingredients. All right, so to this larger bowl, I'm going to add 1 whole stick of butter and 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 6 tablespoons of brown sugar and a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. So from here, we just have to mix all these ingredients together until it's nice and creamy. But I do not have a stand mixer or even a hand mixer, so I'm going to have to do it like the Pilgrims did and just do it by hand. So I'll come back once that's all done. All right, that's creamy enough, don't you think? So now I need to add 1 egg to this. So I'm going to crack this egg open, and there we go. Just got to mix all that now. So at this point, we have to now start adding the dry ingredients about 1/3 at a time. How much is the 1/3? Who knows? We're just going to eyeball it. So let's just get about 1/3 at a time. I think that's good enough. And let's mix this. The recipe book says not to over mix, otherwise the cookie is going to come out dense when it's baked. So basically, I'm just going to keep on mixing once I see that there's no more white left in the ingredients. Let's put like a little bit more in there. Just want to intervene and give a kudos to all the people who were doing stuff like this before the advent of electrical appliances. Those were some tough people, let me tell you. All right, so now we got the last of the dry ingredients in there, and I'm just going to finish mixing this and then just try to scrape down the sides to make sure that all of the flour is incorporated. All right, so that's what we're working with so far. And the last thing that we need to do is add 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And you can also add like nuts and stuff in there if you want to, but I'm just gonna do chocolate chips. And we have to fold the chocolate chips into the mixture until they're evenly distributed as best as we can. All right, everyone, so I have the Ninja Foodi preheating again because honestly, I think that you should probably preheat it after you've gotten the bulk of the work done, because otherwise it's just going to be sitting there cooling off. But anyway, I have very generously greased this pan using some butter, and you're also going to use this reversible rack that comes with the Ninja Foodi, and you want it to be in the position so it can be lower on the pot. So basically, you're going to want to put it in like this and not like this. So we're just going to take this, put it here, and we're going to put our cookie dough in. Wow. Now this is the part where if you have kids, this is the part where they look over your shoulder and see how much of this you're going to leave in the bowl and how much you're going to leave hanging out on the spoon or the spatula or whatever it is that you're using, because who doesn't love licking the bowl? All right, so now that that's in there, I'm just going to smooth it out and just space it out as evenly as I can, and within the next 2 minutes or so I can get this inside of the Foodi. All right, so that's what it looks like. Now, only thing left to do is to throw it inside the Ninja Foodi and bake it. So we're gonna put it inside the Foodi and we're gonna put it on 325 to cook for about 23 minutes. All right, so we're just gonna drop this down in here in the lower position. Close this up. Bake / roast 325, 23 minutes. All right, I'll see you then. 23 minutes has passed, so let's open this up and see what our big cookie looks like. Not bad. Get a closer look at that. Whoa, sliding. Now, I am curious as to whether or not it is cooked all the way through. So one thing that I'm going to do to test it is to take this fork, and I'm just going to stick it right down in there to the bottom, pull it out. And you see, it looks like there's a little bit of wetness still in there. So I'm wondering whether that's just a gooey center or if it's been cooked all the way at the bottom. Let's take a closer look. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I'm just going to flip this upside down. Up, take a look at that. You see that? So this is not actually done all the way through, even with it being on there for 23 minutes, which is interesting because I have heard that with this recipe that some people have been having a little difficult time getting it to cook all the way through the first time. So what I'm going to do is slide this back into the tray. I put it back in the Foodi for about 8 more minutes on that opposite side. So let's take a look at it now. All right, so now it's actually looking like it's been cooked all the way through. Let's take it out. So here is the finished product. I flipped it back over on the front side so that you can have another look. It's finally cooked through the bottom. There's that one melted chocolate chip on the top. And yeah, it smells like a good old chocolate chip cookie. So yeah, just the only thing is that the recipe doesn't allow the cookie to cook all the way through. That's the only problem with it. All right, so I just took this out the foodie, so I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes or so, let it rest and let it cool off a bit. Then we are going to dig in and see what this thing tastes like. I think I waited long enough. I am really wanting to see how this cookie tastes because it smells really good. So I'm just gonna take this butter knife and just cut off a little triangular piece. See, you can get a look at this. So look at that. We got a little bit of a gooey center with the chocolate chips. That's where it comes from. That's good. Really sweet, you know, but of course it kind of has to be. 6 tablespoons of sugar, 6 tablespoons of brown sugar, butter, and these semi-sweet chocolate chips. This is dying to be paired with vanilla ice cream. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. It's burning my mouth. I should have waited a little bit longer because it's still pretty hot. But there you have it, guys. That is the chocolate chip skillet cookie baked inside of the Ninja Foodi. I recommend maybe letting it go for about 30 minutes so it can be cooked even on the top and on the bottom. Or you can do like I did, take it out at 23 minutes, flip it over, and then bake it some more. Kind of weird because you normally don't have to flip over cookies, but just do whatever you feel is best. But at the end of the day, the actual core recipe and the ingredients and the quantity and everything that they had us put in here, it turned out to result in a very tasty, quite thick chocolate chip cookie. So that's all, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I will talk to you later.